Hey, there it goes. Yep, looking good.
All right. Hey, this is Patrick again with the Tech and Nonsense Substack publication. This, though, is another episode, excitingly, episode number 2 already of AI Alongside, little bite-sized sort of chats and talks around. Tagline is, field notes from collaboration with AI or AI collaboration. Today, my partner in crime here is Tony Nelson, who Tony and I have worked together in the past in cybersecurity. Somehow or other, we ended up being friends while we were working together. Not always friends, obviously.
Weird.
Some conflict days, but mostly friends. And we found that we both now make a hell of a lot of use of generative AI tools at work as well as in our lives outside of work.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to doing one of these with Tony for a while, and here we are.
So, Patrick, let's jump in because I know previously we discussed our usage and the models that we liked and the chatbots we liked, and you're set up ready to defend Gemini.
Yes, we were chatting,
which historically I have found no use for.
Yeah, we were chatting in the what they call it, the green room or whatever.
Yeah, the green room. Having drinks, talking about how crappy Gemini was.
Yeah, prior to hitting the record button. And I have, I'm here to defend Gemini a little bit. I was definitely in a position a couple months ago to say that I thought Gemini might well be the least useful, the least impressive of these well-known chatbot tools. ChatGPT and Anthropic's Claude, and
I'm in that camp.
Yeah. The two big leaders are those two, really. And I did a post not too long ago about Gemini Advanced failing pretty miserably with its new remember feature. Tell it your favorite color is purple, or you really enjoy gardening, or your favorite type of cuisine is Asian fusion, or whatever things, and it will then remember and know those things about you. So, one of the screenshots I captured was, oh yeah, I can remember, but I can only remember through the course of this individual chat.
Yeah,
which is absolutely not what that feature is. ChatGPT has had this feature for more than half a year. I think it's 8
and they're
or 9 months.
fantastic at it.
It's brilliant. It is. That might be my single favorite feature across all the chatbots.
Absolutely.
Is ChatGPT's memory. Now, there's a huge proviso attached to it, which is we should always be careful about what we input in our prompts to these tools, right?
Always. You
want to tell it that you bank
nothing too personal.
You bank with Bank of America and your local branch is X, or your child's name is this, or your child goes to so-and-so school. The same sorts of things you wouldn't share on Facebook, God forbid if you use Facebook. You wouldn't put these into a Gen AI tool, but even more so with the memory feature. Now you can still go in, just like with your prompt history, you can still go in and manually delete things.
Sure, yeah, you can sanitize
within the memory feature
after the fact. But yeah,
just take care. Don't tell it that I work at so and so company and this is my job and I sit in this office and my network password is this. Obviously. Yeah. So, once you're doing that, though, I think it might be my favorite overall feature across all these bots, because it is so bloody useful in my case, I have told it, probably 8 months ago, I told it, I work in cybersecurity. I work in a GRC team, governance, risk, and compliance. I told it, I write a little Substack publication. My Substack publication, I write, or more like scribble, because I'm nothing really like a good writer, but I scribble about, cybersecurity and AI and this PKM idea of personal knowledge management and so forth, and mobile apps. Yeah. And it's and on a more personal, goofy side, I told it my dog's name and my dog's breed mix.
Right.
She's a Shepherd
Yeah.
Border Collie.
Yeah.
And it is so useful to me to be able, months later, to go on the live conversation as well, the live voice with ChatGPT and say, hey, you remember that I work in cybersecurity, right? Or you remember that I write for Substack, and it'll go, oh yeah, I remember, and you write about these four topics.
And again, that's so important, because as was speaking to a friend or a coworker that has that memory, those responses can be tailored or addressed to you because it knows who you are.
Yeah. So I mean, on the one side,
yeah,
we have the live continuous conversation, which is very nice in itself. But
very
now
nice.
It's a conversation that you can pick back up.
Yes, that's what's so important.
Or months later, which is such a time saver.
Yeah.
So anyway, having said that, we were talking about Gemini.
That's right.
And Gemini failed on this. And I wrote pretty harshly about that. I thought it was comically bad at it.
Yeah.
At one point, I asked it to verify that it had that feature now, and it said, yep, I do, but I can only remember things during the course of this individual chat, which is absolutely not what that feature advertises itself to be.
And it's appalling at searching the web or giving links or web references, which is so surprising to me that a Google product has that difficulty.
Yes, that one's a pretty tragically comical as well. But defending Gemini a little, I did write very briefly. It was sort of half of a post that was combined about two different topics. But I have found something that Gemini is good at, and maybe even I would say very, very good at now, which is summarizing data. It can work with Google Docs. So if you have, again, being in cybersecurity, if I have a lengthy PDF about whatever supply chain risk assessment methodology,
summarize this vendor white paper,
whatever topic, I can within Gemini, I can hit the little plus attach button, choose my PDF, and go, maybe I haven't looked at that PDF in 2 years, and I can go, hey, give me the 5 biggest takeaways in the attached PDF, and it'll spit those out and do a really, really good job. And it's not just Google Docs. You can essentially upload any PDF document. I think I'm pretty sure it supports other file formats. I don't remember them offhand. I apologize.
And can you point to something you have on your personal Google Drive?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Google Drive. You select that way, or just upload to it. Just hit that attach button and then scroll through your Google Drive.
Yep.
And I think it supports more than just PDF, but I'm failing to remember the other file formats. So it's very good at that. And it doesn't have to be something from your Google Drive. If you sort of download a PDF from whatever source out there on the web that you're interested in, and you want to do the same sort of thing with, you upload that as well. So I think it's very good at that. And the one that I think I see, or I know I've seen quite a lot of improvement with Gemini, is just in your sort of generic, I got a question about whatever topic, dog breeds or cool places to go on vacation in Europe, or whatever topic is on your mind, or work-related topic. My go-to usually is ChatGPT or Claude. I sometimes use Perplexity, or
if you need those references.
Yeah, or the lovely little Arc browser, which is also AI-driven. And I used to sometimes include Gemini just to go, it's so bad.
Right. Yeah, that's it. Let's see what dumb thing Gemini has to say.
Just almost, intentionally.
Entertainment.
Right. For the entertainment. Exactly. But now, like I say, I believe, at least in my experience, it is showing a lot of improvement in that area as well. I can look at a Gemini result and stand it up next to ChatGPT or Claude, and Gemini is doing well. Sometimes on par with them, sometimes maybe even a little better. I see Gemini improving. We were just talking about going back to what it's not so great at. And my question on this is, does it really matter? It's not very good at all in being a replacement for Google Assistant, where, hey, what's the weather going to be like on Thanksgiving? What's on my calendar next Tuesday?
No, it's miserable.
Okay. How important is that to you?
Well, to be honest, I don't use Google Assistant that much, so not. However, I do have coworkers and friends that use like Siri regularly. They use Google Assistant regularly. So, I mean, maybe for you and I, not having that integration, AI with my phone is not that big of a deal, but I think for other people to be more useful. And again, if my initial round with Gemini as the assistant was more fruitful, I may have stuck with it, but it was just such a big failure when I did give it a go that I was just like, it's not usable. It's not usable for me.
So I'm kind of almost the same as you. I kept it as the assistant. I'm aware that you can turn that off and let Google Assistant. I think you still can.
You can,
turn it off and let Google. But I've found that it's both things for me. I don't think Gemini does a good job as Google Assistant at all, but I also don't miss Google Assistant at all.
No, I either. Yeah.
So I think maybe just thinking about it as we're talking, I think maybe the only one of those quick asks to the assistant that I might still find useful at times is, hey, what's the traffic like going to so-and-so destination if I'm in a hurry in the morning?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
But I can maybe get that almost as fast by opening up Google Maps.
As fast by opening up Google Maps. So, I mean, I may use Google Assistant once, twice a week, maybe. And like you said, it's usually for something mundane or something. Yeah. I mean, if it's out of my hands and I can't touch my phone physically, then I'll yell at it to do something for me. But
so
not that big a deal.
The other thing we talked about, and this is why it's now not surprising to me that Gemini is showing some very good results when we ask it to summarize documents, is there's another Google tool called Notebook LM. For any of y'all who have not tried out Notebook LM, it's a web app only, doesn't have a mobile version or any sort of desktop app. It's just a web app, but it is absolutely brilliant. And it does this same sort of thing. You upload documents to it. It can ingest entire books. I have had it ingest a couple of different entire books. And it then gives you like a note guide, and it suggests questions you can ask about the PDF document or the book you've uploaded. And the question suggestions are great.
Yeah.
And then it has a few things that just with one click, you can have it produce. It'll produce a very good FAQ document. It'll produce a surprisingly useful table of contents document. It'll produce a really good briefing document with the key points and so forth from the book or PDF or whatever that you've uploaded. And then the last one, which may be the only reason that people will know Notebook LM, because it got a whole bunch of great coverage, deservedly, it can, with one click, create a podcast with two speakers discussing the subject of the book you uploaded.
Yep, perfect.
And there are ways to customize the tone and so forth of the podcast, but I've mostly found you don't need to do anything. Just let it do it. And this is not a this is not a spits it out in 10 seconds, but it's more of a spits it out in 1 minute to a minute and a half, which is still very fast. And the podcasts are just great.
Well, and so what was the name of that one more time for any sponsors that might be listening to this podcast?
Yeah. Notebook and then LM, like Lima.
Notebook LM. Okay.
Lima.
Yeah, I will take a look at that. That sounds useful.
Lima Mary or something. So anyway, the link to Notebook LM in what we're talking about is that Notebook LM and Gemini are both Google products.
Yeah.
They're both ultimately, at least to some extent, built upon the foundation of Google's DeepMind, which is one of the foundation models that all of these, currently exponentially growing and doing all these wonderful, talented Swiss Army knife like things for us are built upon foundation models like DeepMind. DeepMind may be one of the best of those foundation models from what I can gather. So anyway, that makes it much less surprising that, Gemini is showing some skills in this area.
Yeah. Well, and this, again, this kind of may be a bit of a meta discussion or for another episode, but while we were doing tequila shots in the green room earlier, my thoughts around the larger companies like Google and Microsoft having their integrating their AI products with products that we use daily, right? We're all on a Windows machine. We're all using Google. I mean, daily is the homogenization of responses, right? As more of these smaller applications, bots, or companies get bought up, which is inevitable, right? They will get bought up by a Google or a Microsoft or an Apple or a Facebook.
So we have 3.5 minutes left. Let's do our best.
Sure.
Talk through that in 3.5 minutes, and then when we publish this, if anybody's interested and says, "Why don't you talk more?" Do it next time.
So
and again, we cheated a little beforehand.
Yeah.
I think the fact is there's a lot of incestuous behavior between these big players.
100%. Yeah.
Microsoft has invested something like $15 billion in OpenAI, who create ChatGPT. ChatGPT is powering a lot of Microsoft's Copilot tools that they have in the enterprise. Both Google and Amazon have invested heavily in Anthropic, who produce Claude, and Claude is the major competitor to ChatGPT. So, I think it's like anything. Competition for those of us who are the consumers of these products, competition is always great. We can choose between an iPhone and an Android phone. We can choose between a Ford and a Chevy and a, whatever other, Japanese car brands and whatever else strikes our fancy. So, obviously competition is always going to be good. It's always concerning that these big tech companies are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, and there are concerns about that from everything from, politics and, market domination.
And again, that's kind of the concern when I mention the homogenization of responses. There's also going to be an inevitable dilution of responses that comes with that. And let me throw out an analogy of a music analogy is pop music, right? So it's going to be pop music of AI, where it's going to be for everybody. It's going to be extremely generic. It's going to be predictable and homogeneous, right? It's all going to sound pretty much the same. And being able to being able to hunt down those little exceptional ones, or like I mentioned before, those kind of niche AI chatbots that give you those specific types of responses or subject-specific responses. Maybe it'll become more difficult.
I think that might be the answer, though, that last bit you said. I mean, I personally find that, I can create plenty of Spotify playlists that I love, and I can still find original music.
No, absolutely.
From
Yeah.
new artists across several different musical genres. I may have to spend a little more time than I did however long ago. I think that might be the answer. If it does get more homogenized, again, but one of the things that's been a foundational concept that I've been following with these tools, courtesy of Professor Ethan Mollick, is spend time with all of these tools.
Yeah,
Figure out what are their strengths,
100%.
what are their weaknesses. So I think that's still going to be the answer as we go forward. If there's 30 of these tools to choose from, or if there's 3 of these tools to choose from, still going to just spend time with them. Know that this one's great for this, the other one is great for that. This one is really weak at that, and we can go from there. And right now we got 15 seconds left, and
we're done. You guys, everybody listening, discuss amongst yourselves.
Right. That's this one. I'm going to
thanks, Patrick.
hit the stop record button.